Streaming your own death in a commercial plane crash, last moments in a tornado, a killer stalking his victim. Tonight on Dan's Planet, we're taking a look at some of the most disturbing footage found on the internet. As always, viewer discretion is advised. It was August 10th, 1984, when 36-year-old James Caddell and Ronnie Wilmond were flying over the Arapaho National Forest in a Cessna L-19 when James lost control of the single-engine plane and the two crashed into the forest, killing them both instantly. The footage wasn't discovered until 3 years later when two backpackers found it in 1987. It was not released to the public for 20 years due to its disturbing content, but in those 2 decades it was used in flight instruction schools across the country. On June 30th, 2011, Lauren Teresa Gidding was reported missing. She was a 27-year-old graduate student studying for the bar at Mercer University in Macon, Georgia. Her disappearance was noted following her sister's wedding, and it was on that day, on the 30th, as she was reported missing and police and reporters were canvassing the area, when we get this bizarre interview with Lauren's neighbor and former classmate Stephen McDaniel in a now viral video.
I've always heard noise outside, but it's just people walking by pretty much.
And she just recently graduated from Mercer?
Yeah, she and I were both JD students. We graduated back in May.
What kind of person was she? I mean, what did you see?
I mean, she's as nice as can be. I mean, very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know any enemies she might have had, somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, we don't know where she is. I mean, the only thing we can think is that maybe she went out running and someone snatched her. Because we went over. One of her friends had a key. We went inside and tried to see if there was anything amiss. But she had a door jamb that was sitting right by it, so there was no sign that anyone broke in. The door was locked when everyone got here. We just don't know where she is.
Here stands her killer, Stephen McDaniel, trying to play the part of a concerned friend for TV. Now, thankfully, the cops pick up on his involvement pretty quickly, and then we get this very disturbing interrogation footage. And you may be familiar with some of those clips that I just played you, but have you seen this one? It was June 2011 when an Indian family taking a bath in the Patel Pani River when 5 of them were swept away by a recent rainwater surge.
हेलो क्या क्या भैया नीचे जाओ ना, नीचे नहीं जा सकते। जल्दी होते हैं, जल्दी से बात करो।
Fortunately, 2 of them were able to swim to safety, which is kind of a miracle after seeing that waterfall. It's absolutely massive, but 3 of them did not make it, and they did have difficulty retrieving the bodies. But sometimes in poorer areas, it's like the only way they can get clean, so it is just a really unfortunate thing, and very disturbing to see how quickly they were swept away. On the evening of April 9th, 2015, a powerful EF4 tornado ripped through Fairdale, Illinois. It was an absolutely devastating event, and to quote Twister, it looked like the finger of God. It was a terrifying sight. The storm injured 22 people and killed 2. And this footage I'm about to show you is of one of the survivors, Clem Shultz, who recorded the whole event with his cell phone. Unfortunately, his wife Jerry and his neighbor Jacqueline were 2 of the casualties, and you'll see why as they were in the direct path of the storm. And I'll just share a little bit of advice here. If you can't see which direction the twister is going, it's coming right at you. So seek shelter immediately. On April 28, 2000, a 22-year-old Russian-Israeli diving instructor, Yuri Lipski, initiated a voluntary, uncontrolled descent into the blue hole of the Red Sea. The blue hole is a blue hole, with a max depth within the hole of just over 330 feet. And there's a shallow opening of the sea around 20 feet deep known as the Saddle, and an 85-foot-long tunnel known as the Arch. The seaward side of the floor drops steeply to over 3,300 feet. The blue hole is popular for freediving because of the depth directly accessible from shore and the lack of current. This dive site is reputed to have the most diver fatalities in the world. Tarek Omar, a technical diver from Dabab who has recovered bodies from the hole, estimated that in 2012 he had recovered over 130 divers lost in the blue hole over 15 years. 130 divers over 15 years. So we're going to go ahead and roll the footage as I explain what's going on. The descent seems pretty normal as Yuri slowly gets to 115 meters, but as soon as he gets to the floor, he panics. He removes his regulator, and then he tries to fill his buoyancy compensator, but he succumbs to severe nitrogen narcosis, likely accompanied with hallucinations. And that last blip of them kind of panning once the camera is out of the water, it's extremely chilling to me. It only lasts for like 2 seconds, but that's the part that really lets it sink into me, because it's like the juxtaposition of a kind of a clear day on the surface of the water safely versus what we just saw happen to Yuri with that same camera just a day or two prior. It was January 15th, 2023, when a commercial flight from Kathmandu to Pokhara carrying 72 souls crashed near its final approach to the runway. It was 100% pilot error. The plane was a perfectly working ATR 72-500, but one of the engines was accidentally set to feathering, where there is no thrust produced. The plane, of course, stalled, banked, and I'll just show you the rest. It's probably the most haunting footage I've ever watched, from smiles and chatting in one moment to just a fiery hell in another moment for close to 100 people. It happened in an absolute flash, and it's just stuck with me ever since I've seen it, and I think it's probably the most disturbing thing I can show you. So that's where we're going to leave it today. Thank you so much for listening. If you made it to the end, I love you. And please like, sub, do all the things I would do. Drive fast, take chances. I'll see you next time. And as a postscript here, if you enjoyed this, you might like my podcast, 2 Cats, 1 Dog. The links are kind of around here. Kind of got a schedule. On Thursday, we release for the 2 Cats, 1 Dog. On the weekend, I release for Dance Planet, and then on Mondays, Tuesdays, I release for the Patreon, which if you want to support me, you can do it there as well. So thank you so much again, and I'll see you next time.